Make sure that I get into playing Minecraft. Oh no, I didn't recognize my face. I was not looking at it. Hi everyone. My name is Sarah, and if you're new here, basically, oh my goodness. Okay, good. Basically, I'm playing Minecraft and using MakeCode and just kind of having fun building stuff. Right now, what we're doing is we are building Clue inside of Minecraft, but with a different variation of it. So far, we just have 9 rooms, and they're pretty neat rooms. So it's a lot of fun. Actually, one thing that I did want to bring up is VS Code so that we can have all of our rooms in here so that you can see what it is that we're actually doing. Here we go. So we can make this a little smaller. So these are all of our rooms. We have a canyon room, a water room, a hill room, a mud room, a swamp room, a sky room, a treehouse room, a coral reef room, a cave room, and then we have the idea here is that we have all of these rooms. We're going to try to simulate a version of Clue, and then you can imagine playing multiplayer and basically having all of your friends join you on the mountaintop and then turning into survival mode, and then they can use the commands to kind of go into all of the rooms. Um, I've been coding for over a decade. I really love playing Minecraft, especially Education Edition. And yeah, welcome to my stream. The biggest thing, which I realized I have not done yet, is I definitely need to bring up the Twitch stream so then that way I can get um, the comments. And if you have any, let me figure out how to grab my chat here. So then that way, if you have any ideas, I am a firm believer in pair programming. Pair programming is where you have one person who's on the keyboard and mouse and one person who's next to them, and they are coding something together at the same time. There's variations of pair programming, but that's kind of like the OG pair programming. And I treat everyone watching as my pair programmers. So basically, I treat myself as the driver, the person with the keyboard and the mouse, and I treat y'all as the navigators. So I highly, highly recommend that you let me know if you see any bugs. Let me know if anything is going wrong. Let me know when I forget the negative sign on all of my coordinates, which I was doing last time. Let me know if you have ideas. um, yeah, just let me know. And also, if there's any problems with the stream, I think I've got things situated. I actually got a nicer brand new camera. I've got my lights going. Um, and I think the audio is working okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Basically, we want to play with the same world that we were doing. Oh no, which one was it? I think it might have been this one. Let's try this one. I was doing some testing, so I was playing with a bunch of different worlds. Hopefully it's this one though. Um, this is again with Minecraft Education Edition. If you don't have this one, I mean, you can do a lot of the same stuff inside of Minecraft. I just like playing with Education Edition because I like teaching and things like that. Oh yeah, okay. So this is our coral reef room with our sea pickles, not cucumbers, sea pickles underwater there. So I made a little coral reef room. I noticed that the coral started to die. I'm not sure if that was because there was no water like on the inside or if that was a different reason. But then I just kind of got the idea that it would be kind of neat if we had water above and below because we're technically like underwater in this coral reef. And yeah, I don't think that that was the reason why that coral started to die because now looking at all this coral that's in the air and not dying, I don't think that was the reason. So we can go ahead and bring up VS Code and we can see that to get to our canyon, it's canyon. So let me go ahead and just make this a little smaller. Um, and then that way I can make this one just a tiny bit smaller also. And we can kind of just see that a little bit better. You're gonna get cut off there. Okay, so let's go back to playing. If we do the command canyon, oh, I have to run the code first. Don't forget that you have to press C for the code builder. You have to go back into your make code. I really should name this one, but you have to go into it and then you have to press play to make sure that you're actually running it because otherwise it won't know to execute the code. It's like, congratulations, you said canyon. cool. Um, and it's not that interesting. There we go. So here's our canyon world. What is that? Oh, that's right. We made it out of glass, and so that's just kind of like a little opening on the bottom. Um, whoa, I'm like falling. Hello. Why am I not able to? My forward key. There we go. My forward key was like stuck for a second there. Okay. So this is our canyon room. We put the torches, well, we put the bottom torches on the inside, which I thought was just kind of neat. Again, just little like aesthetically pleasing things. That was canyon. Then we have water. So here's our water world. Very nice. We have hill. Here's our hill. Basically, we're just in some dirt. Then we have mud. I really liked our mud one of our viewers from last week, Stinkerelli. Now I realize, like, when I was trying to say it, when I was reading, I was like, Kelly Rally. I don't know. But Stinkerelli, I think, is how you actually pronounce it. Had the great idea of making a swamp one. So you can't really tell from inside of here. But if we were to, let's see, where are we right now? We're at 54. So we need to just go up. So let's go to like 64. I bet. Okay, so let's go negative. Oh, right. I need my pen because I always have to write down coordinates. Negative 954, 64, 10, 60. So let's go to that. Negative 964, 64, 10, 60. Oops. Syntax error. What did I do wrong? TP. Oh. Oh, it is supposed to be slash, right? Push the slash. Teleport. Where? Not to Sarah G. No, I want to teleport to negative 964. Oh, there's not supposed to be commas, I think. 1060. There we go. So here's our swamp, the top of our mud slash swamp. Oh, sorry, the top of our mud. Swamp is a different one. This is the top of our mud. And so it looks kind of neat because I tried to make it like where the water was touching the grass and then kind of made it muddy. Nah, nah, I'm not the best artist in the world. That's okay, especially pixel artists. Like, yeah, no. Okay, so let's keep exploring. Then we have our swamp. There's Ayla. We made our swamp kind of greenish tinge. And if we go above this one is negative 1473. Let's go up to 67 and then 2215. Actually, we could just go up to, yeah, that's fine. Okay. So TP negative 1475, 67, 2215. We can see, like, you can't really see the swamp. We tried to put it near some of the other green tinged water, which now I'm realizing I don't see. Oh, there it is. So we try to put it, see how there's other green tinged water over here, and it just kind of looks like another part of the green tinged water. Although you can actually even really see it. You kind of have to know what you're looking for there. Okay, let's keep exploring. Then we have our skybox, basically. That's this one. Just a box in the sky. And then we have our trees. This one we tried to make in the trees. So again, let's teleport up. So that's negative 1260, 75, 372. I just realized it'd probably be a really great idea to just have a command called up so that I can always just be above the room because it's just kind of neat to be able to see where they all are. So I'm going to write that down as like a to do, command up. I also want to refactor. Last week we realized that there was a really easy way of making a mistake if you accidentally made the command hill actually build the room for the hill rather than like go to the hill because then you start building and then it gets messed up. And anyways, watch last week's stream for that if you want to see it. We do need to refactor our code and make it a little bit better. So we'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, let's go up again. So let's TP to negative 1260, 75, but we want to go up. So let's just go to 90 and then 372. So this is what the tree one looks like. Again, it's pretty obvious to be honest. But I mean, there's a lot of dense trees around here. What we could do is just add some kind of, texture to it. So that maybe just, it might even be a good idea to do this. Maybe not right this second, but we can add some texture to it to make it look a little bit more like a tree, like one really big tree. We could even potentially, I think there's actually one missing right here. Um, Oh yeah, we could even potentially do something like this where we do add, because that's actually what we have on the inside is it's wood. So we can take out some of the like, these parts, and then it'll look a little bit more like wood and branches and trees, etc. So that's kind of an option, but we don't have to do that right now. Let's keep exploring. So we also have our coral. That's the one we started in. We have our cave, which I really like because what we did was we actually left it open. And so it actually does kind of look like a cave from the outside. We just went into a mountain. Um, And I mean, it's a little bit obvious depending on the angle, especially because other caves have more complexity to the insides of them. Um, so when you're looking, it kind of looks complex, whereas this one just looks flat. But we're going to fix that a little bit later. Um, and then we have mountain. Let's, yeah, mountain. Um, so let's go ahead and go to mountain. All right, and this is just kind of like our little starting point, and um, you can't really see where everything is. It might be kind of cool to put like beacons where they all are. Yeah, teleport to where like the tops of them. I don't know. We might want to make like a little map. I don't know. I have like so many ideas. Okay, first things first. Let's refactor our code just to make it easy. I'd like y'all to be able to use this if you want to, and it's just a lot to worry about. Um, to worry about like making the wrong, decision. So basically what we have here is we have a bunch of commands that and it's kind of hard to see. I can zoom in a bit. So we have a bunch of commands that go to a certain room. So that's what these ones are. Then we have a bunch that build certain things. So let's start with the ones, and actually, it might be easier to just edit this in JavaScript, to be honest. But before we do that, see, we have like way too many on player chats. It just gets really confusing. It's hard to find everything. So instead of doing that, let's first of all, it would be great to have, can we make lists? Let me, yeah, no. That's what I thought. Okay. So what I wanted, oh, maybe in advance. There we go. Arrays. So what we can do is we can actually make an array of all of the coordinates, maybe, and then that way um, you put in a room number, maybe, and then it translates it over. So maybe, oh, my poor baby. I think she's getting hungry. Don't worry, someone's watching her. She's not just like hanging out by herself over there. Um, so yeah, we can do an array. When we do the teleport command, it's three different numbers. So we would need to do, oh gosh darn it. So if I do a teleport command and then I want to do position, I can teleport to world, right? Yeah. Okay. So I can teleport to world. When we do the up command is super easy, right? So we can do something like up, and then basically we do teleport to your location plus 10. That's the up command. So check, we did that one. Um, and actually we for that one we might still want to have it be part of the refactor where we say like go up or like teleport up or something like that. But what I was thinking was the issue is the world command takes in three, an X, Y, and a Z, which are all three different things. If we look at it in the JavaScript now, though, will that be commented out or is it just not there? Okay, let's go to the up. So it does create it like this. So one thing that we could do is we could have it be, so what does it look like actually if you go to a specific location? We could have that whole thing. No, it can't be a string. We'd have to parse it then. Sorry, I'm like thinking as I'm talking. I'm trying to think of a way to have one array that has the three, like the all of the locations, but the three coordinates, so X, Y, and Z. And the problem with that is um, I can't save it in the array as a number with commas in it because then it's no longer a number. But I also can't save it in the array as a string because this takes in three distinct numbers. So I could just have three arrays, an X array, a Y array, and a Z array. That's fine. But I don't really want to do that. I want to do something snazzier. So let's take a look at what up does. So this one's create world. So create positions.create will be in relation to you. Positions.create world will be in relation to the world. So that's good to know. But again, these are, individual locations, not or like individual numbers, not a string and not just like one number. So that's a little tricky. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with three different arrays, an X array, a Y array, and a Z array. Um, just so then that way, this yeah, we can do it. Like, I just want to make progress. I don't like this because it's easy to have the arrays get out of sync. Like, what if you have an X array, a Y array, and a Z array, but then you put canyon and water, and then you put mud and swamp? It just, I don't know. It's just a little awkward. So actually, let me just bring this like that. Oh, that didn't do what I wanted to do. Okay, anyways. Um, so let's go ahead and open this up again, and let's grab this. And we're going to do, I'm going to have one called like setup game. Let's just call it setup. And we're going to name this array um, X positions. And then we're going to have another one called Y positions. I really want that to be lowercase x. And then we're going to have a third one be called Z positions. Notice that I didn't, so I copied this one, I duplicated it, and then I didn't say rename for this one. I instead said new variable. That's because if you were to have done rename, let's just call it like a position for now, it'll actually rename the original one as well because this was a duplicate of this, which means it was referring to the same array. So we want to make sure that we don't do that when you're duplicating. That's something that's like fairly easy to accidentally do. So if you want to rename a variable in make code, it's going to change it for everywhere it exists, which makes sense, right? If I have something called, you know, um, canyon, and then I want to rename that to, hill or something like that, I want that to apply everywhere and not just to that one place. But that gets tricky when you start having like complex blocks of code that you want to then duplicate, and then slightly modify because when you duplicate it, you don't want to rename that. You want to create a whole new variable and assign whatever that complex block was assigned to, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, I'm happy to further explain. Okay, so let's see. This one was supposed to be like that. Okay, so for a setup, we want to have an X, a Y, and a Z position, and we're going to add quite a few here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I think maybe the easiest way will be for me to like take a screenshot of these. Open them up. Whoa, did not mean to do that. Um, Open that screenshot up. All right, so we'll open up that screenshot, and I'm just going to have it kind of off screen to make it easy. Maybe I'll open up that screenshot. There it is. So I'll open up that screenshot. I'm just going to move it off screen, so then that way I can be referring to it. So exposition, I'm just going to do it in the order that it is on the GitHub repo, just so then that way it's always in the same order. Okay, so we've got canyon, water, hill, mud, swamp, sky, treehouse, coral reef, cave, and mountains. We have 10. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. And it might actually be faster to do this. Paste, change that to Y, and paste, change this to Z. All right, there we go. And then to be the numbers. So negative 13, 22, 25, nope, negative 13, 13. Did you do your negative? Negative 13, 13. Negative 1208, negative 954, negative 1477, negative 1303. This is such riveting content. Aren't you so excited that you're watching me do this? But I mean, this is refactoring, right? This is when you've got code and you're trying to do something complex and you didn't know exactly where you were going with things when you started, and then you realize that you really have to like make it right. So then that way it's easy to debug and it's easy to fix things when they're wrong, and it's easy to add things on later. And um, ideally you sit there and you have a plan and you know what you're building, and then you think about kind of the structure of your code and the input and the output and how people are going to use it, and you go from there. Um, Honestly though, I prefer things that are prototyped and piloted, and basically those are all just words to say I just like to build and break and see what happens. Also, why? Oh, the water is like right next to the mountain. That's interesting. Okay. And then the final one is going to be 179. I'm curious though, like if you all code, what do you prefer to do? Do you prefer to spend a lot of time planning ahead of time, or do you prefer to just try things out and see what happens? And one or the other, what is it that, like, what do you code? Are you a professional coder? Do you just code for fun? Are you just learning? Have you been coding for 50 years? Let me know. I'm curious. Curious how other people do it. Because clearly I don't think there's really a right way. I mean, there's a right way for the output that you want. Like if you want to make sure that you never have a bug, for people building like space shuttles and stuff, just those little things. Then yeah, you probably want to do the latter, which is really plan things out, make sure that you have all of your test cases, etc. But if you're just kind of building some fun little things like this, I'm still curious. Like, do you like being very specific or just kind of playing around? Okay. So the nice thing about having all of these now, actually, we should probably create another array that is the like name of the place. Just even if we don't end up using this array, it would be useful to have this documentation inside of MakeCode and not just on the GitHub repo. So rooms, we'll call it, and we need 10 of these, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we'll call this one canyon, and we'll call this one water. And actually, I could see a usefulness for this array. For example, when you like move into a canyon or the canyon room or the hill room, you might want it to just say like, welcome to the canyon or something like that. And then the usefulness of having this is that we can have those types of messages throughout, and we don't have to change each message if we want to change the name of one of our locations. So um, trees, coral, cave, and mountain. Perfect. Okay, so this is our setup. This will allow us to just kind of have all those arrays. Next is that we want to change these chat commands. Okay, so this is basically what we have. Um, all right, so one way of doing it is we could get so this is getting the value at, can you get the index of? Yes. So we can get the index of something. So we can get the index from rooms of swamp and then use that to index the other three X, Y, and Z positions to get the locations. So here's some snazzy stuff that we're about to do. So we're going to, let's do on chat command, and we're going to call this teleport. Okay, so on chat command teleport, and then we want to have that be let's create a variable called room ID. Okay, so you teleport, and then in comes a room ID, which is going to be canyon, water, hill, mud, swamp, sky, trees, coral, cave, or mountain. Okay, so teleport room ID. Then what we're going to do is first we're going to create a variable, and let's call it, oh no, room ID. Room ID is the variable, so we don't need to do that. We just need to do, oh no, we do need a variable, sorry. We do need a variable that is uh, the index, array index. I'm worried about using the name just index as my variable name, because index is often used as like a keyword in some of the libraries that you might use. So I'm going to call it array index because it's just not likely that someone building a library would call it that. And I want to set this to be the rooms array find index of, no, what is this? This was supposed to be room ID. Oh, did I do the thing where I renamed it? I told you. This is room ID. No, I don't want it capitalized. And I wanted this to be array index as a new variable. See, I told you that you would, I told you that you can get messed up by doing that. It is something very important to keep track of. Okay, so let's grab rooms and let's find index of room ID. Okay, what's wrong? Are you in type number? Can you not send a string in as a parameter? I don't want it to be a number. Stop. Go away. I don't want it to be a number. Oh, maybe you can't. What does the JavaScript look like? Let's find teleport function room ID, index of room ID. How do you know room ID is a number though? Who told you it was a number? Teleport. Get rid of that. What does that do? So there's some things that you can't change. Like if you change something in Minecraft, you can, or in JavaScript, you can't. It doesn't automatically change it back over there. Let me delete that. What? Nobody told you to do that. Hello. And now I can't undo. What? That's very frustrating. Did I not click delete num2? Like rewind, stop, rewind, go back and look at what I just did. Because I definitely clicked delete num2 variable, not delete my entire block. And why is my undo redo not working? It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Totally fine. Let's just redo it again. Oh, here we go. Oh, that one's with arguments. On player walk, say hi, on enemies. I just wanted to be able to do this thing. Okay, fine. Teleport. I guess what we could do is just have. Okay, I have an idea. Let's have one called room list. So on chat command room list, I want to say all of the rooms. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do one is Canyon. And then I'm just going to do that for each of them. Here's another trick I like to do. So I need 10, right? I don't want to do that 5 more times. I can just do this, do that, and do this. Laziness for the win. Water. Oops, we got to do 2 water. Oh my goodness. All right, let's do 3 hill. So this isn't as much as I wanted. 4 mud, 5 swamp, 6 sky, 7 trees, 8 coral, 9 cave. And you know what? I just realized a better way of doing this. Anyways, teleport. This one will be room ID, and then that's fine. Room ID is going to be a number. Now I'm wondering though, is this 0 based or 1 based for make code? I can't remember. So let's start with this, and instead of having it say that, let's have it say um, we're going to do this, watch. 1, and then we're going to get array, and we're going to do get value. It is going to be 0 based, so let's just do 0. And let's change this to rooms. Can I not put 2 in there? Yeah, oh, come on. Darn it. Can I have you just say that whole thing? Fine. What if I do say 0 and then say, all right. I'm making a lot of strange choices here, but I think I know what I'm trying to get at. Basically this, okay? So then we're going to be like 1, 2, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to grab this, put you here, change you to 1, put you, whoa, leave you there, put you here, change you to 2, Put you here. Change you to 3. Put you, oops. Put you here. Put you back. Change you to 4. All right. 1, 2. All right. So now we're going to put you here. Change you to 5. 6. 7. 8. And last one. So then that way we can still change the words here and it'll always be the same. So, okay, so teleport room ID. So first of all, when you join, no, that's not a thing. When you type in room list, it'll list all the rooms for you. So then that way you know where to go. When you teleport to, basically what we're going to do is we're going to say player teleport to. And we're going to change that from a relative location to an absolute location. And we're basically going to grab list value at for each of these. Change that from list to X position. Let's bring this over. And we're going to change that to room ID. Okay. And we're going to do that for each one, Y and Z. So let's stick you in there, stick you right there, change you to Z, and change you to Y. Okay, so all we've done is teleport you to the location of each one. So that's basically getting rid of the on chat command, cave, whatever, up. I mean, not up, but all the other ones. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so basically now if you were to type room list, you'll get, oh, wonderful. That didn't work. First of all of that stuff's on the side is it totally in the way, so that's not helpful at all, and actually pretty frustrating. I bet I can get rid of um, the like how to play stuff. Movements, yeah, I get that. Can I HUD? I mean, this is just seems to be all documentation. How do I? Let's go into settings. I want to get rid of the show coordinates is fine. Active cheats. Show classroom settings, accessibility, enable UI screen reader. If anyone knows how to get rid of that on the screen, let me know, because I really just don't need all of that reminder. Also, should we change? Should we change to being somebody else? Ooh, story mode. Whoa, this sounds pretty cool. Ooh. Wow. These are some pretty neat skins. City folk, townsfolk. Sure. Sorry. I got distracted. Totally got distracted. Okay. So now that's me. Anyways, if you know how to do that, if you know how to get rid of all those things, let me know. Because it's really annoying. Time set day. Like it might be useful if, I mean, I can still scroll up like this, but also why is that undefined? That's frustrating. Well, anyways, we know from our list. So we've got, here, I'm just going to bring over our list so that you can kind of see it over here. So we do know at least that that's the order. So if I were to just do teleport 1, oops, teleport 1, that should take me to the water. Or it will do absolutely nothing. Wonderful. Teleport 2, and I want to go there. Let's actually see what's happening here, though, because I bet you it's not able to understand what's going on. So let's, you know what? I just realized the problem. I needed to say setup. I executed it, but I didn't actually say setup. Yeah, I did run it. Thank you, Jessica. But I didn't run setup. So rooms, X position, Y position, and Z position were never created. So let's go ahead and run setup first. There we go. And now let's go ahead and run room list. And now we can see them all right here. Awesome. I mean, it's not very pretty. It would be better if we didn't have the enter in there, but that's causing some issues, so we're not going to worry about that. Now we can say um, teleport 3. Awesome. And that took us to our awesome. Okay, so that does work. It's not very usable in terms of like the room list, so we might want to modify that slightly, but we can do that later. Um, okay. Whew. So we were able to just get rid of all of these now. So this one right here, we can get rid of. We can also have this instead of, like we could have teleport 10 or something be up. And then if room ID is like greater than whatever, actually, I wonder what happens if you do press, um, what happens if you do press teleport, or sorry, type teleport and then a word. Well, it would help if I spelled teleport right. Interesting. So because what I feel like is I feel like it should actually work in terms of I should be able to just type teleport and then canyon, and then I should be able to get the position of canyon. I think it's that the blocks expect any kind of input to be a number rather than another word. Um, but I think that technically speaking in the JavaScript it would work. So let's get this to work first the way it is, and then we can adjust that. So let's go. Well, what we couldn't do, what we couldn't do, I think we can say if if actually let's do. See, I think this is going to be the same problem because what I wanted to do is I wanted to say up, but I wanted to do room ID. And I think it's going to say a number can't be compared to. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. But what we can do is if room ID is um, 10, and we go up. Okay. All right. So now we've got setup. We've got all the rooms. Let's get rid of all of these chat commands. Just for kind of reference, this is all the code we have now. And basically, I'm getting rid of each of these. And then I'm essentially going to be able to do the same for all of those other ones. Um, and for simplicity's sake, I might have those other ones just all be the same size. We did do some modifications to the sizes depending on the location that we were, but I think I might just have them all be the same size. But if we take a look at this, it's really hard to see. We don't really need to place the gold anymore. I'm going to get rid of that. But let's just kind of try to organize these in a way that we'll be able to actually see them once we zoom in. All right, so let's go ahead and move these around. And that way we'll be able to actually see what is going on. All right. Are those all of them? Yay. Okay. So we had these builds here. So it's kind of hard to see, but each of these say build, and then it has like a hill, a coral, whatever, cave. Um, Basically, they all do the same two things. So we've got like one outer layer of whatever we want to build, and then an inner layer of air. What we could do um, is we could have it be the same numbers of the rooms. I mean, this is kind of weird. Um, it's kind of weird because my locations of where my rooms are already set. So this is really just kind of the building part. Um, I almost might say I, I'm thinking more for reuse. So for when you run this, like you can do it too, kind of thing. Um, I mean, we already have this built. I don't know if it's actually worth refactoring all of them. The reason is because it's just so specific and uh, the one thing that would be good though is if we had them all have the row and panel and outer done. I guess it would make sense though. Basically, we should just have a building one and then you would go in and swap the material. I think that's what makes sense. So let's just keep it be being build. I hate having to go into the code and change something before you run it, but I guess that's kind of the nature of how we play with make code inside of Minecraft. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, right? Like you go and you do something and then you go in the code and you change it and then you go and do something. I just kind of wanted to create like this all-inclusive in-game thing. But it would be useful to still have all of these, like say row done, panel done, outer done. So I might just add those in to the ones that don't have it. So let's go in right here. Let's call this row done. And actually, I don't need done row. I need outer done and done. Let's just do that. Outer done and then done. You don't need to know when each row and panel is done. Um, it just seems like overkill. And we should have starting just so then that way we know nothing like went wrong. Okay, so we've got starting, outer done, and done. Starting, oh no, done, and outer done. Okay. And then when you're doing this, basically, I would just recommend changing whatever the outer thing is. And that's what makes me annoyed is that it's literally the same code. Like all four of these blocks are literally the exact same code. The only difference is the block, which is, oh, I mean, duh. Okay, fine. Like I can't bring myself to not do this. It's so frustrating. Okay, we're gonna do room ID again. Um, Oh, I'm so annoyed at myself. Like, I can't bring myself to not refactor this, and it's not necessarily the best way to refactor, but it's how it's happening. So, we're gonna have hill here. So we're gonna go ahead and do room ID here. I know it's pretty hard to see. I'm sorry about that. Basically, what I'm doing is the following. I'm just gonna create a large else if statement with 10 of them, well, 9 of them. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Um, I made another one because I'll have one for the mountain, even though we're not going to build anything on it. Um, We may want to. We may want to like, so this isn't super efficient because now every single time it runs, sorry, I'm going through like all the trade-offs in my head, and the frustrating part is that now every single time this one runs, for every single block that it places, it has to do an if statement. I don't like that. Okay, never mind. We're gonna leave it the way it was. Um, because I don't want it to do an if statement every single block it has to place. When it's placing a 10 by 10 and then it's going to place an 8 by 8, that's just ridiculous. I mean, we wouldn't have to check it for every block on the inside, but uh, yeah, that's just ridiculous. What we can do is we can create a function. This is what we can do. Okay, so instead of having it be one command, let's create a function, and the parameter, this is what we're going to do. The function is going to be called um, outer walls, okay? And the parameter is going to be the room type, okay? And basically what we're going to do is we're going to bring you down here where all of our building ones are, and we're going to bring this into here, okay? And let's call this build outer. And then what I'd like to do is I'd like to create an array called block type. I'm going to stick with the way that I was doing things. Block type. And I want to set block type. I don't know if this is going to work, but I want to set block type to be a type of block. And so, for example, glass. Then we're going to, and actually, for a function, can we send in something other than, okay, that's what I thought. Then we're going to have it be block type, not this one. Because then what we can do, and then the air, so then instead of build sky, we'll call this one hollow out. Okay. And then doesn't matter where. Sorry, we did need that sky. So then basically what we're going to do is we're going to call build outer. Now we're going to have that large if statement because we're going to call build outer, and we're going to send in sky. Okay. Um, this is where I would really like to have this be a string. Um, anyways, it's fine. Have that be sky, and then we're gonna call hollow out. Hollow out doesn't need to have, for now, hollow out does not need to have a parameter. We can always, can we change that? Okay, cool. Why do you create the functions at the top? I want you to create the functions where I am. Now I have to drag you all around. Okay, so let's, instead of having this be on chat command, we'll have this be its own function. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to call hollow out. And let's go ahead. Oops. Is this going to work? Ah! Why doesn't it delete it? That's really frustrating. Am I missing something here? Delete the variable. I feel like that's a bug. I need to let folks know about that. Okay, let's just go ahead and go back. and just do build sky. And we're going to call it build sky for now. Okay. Build glass is going to basically be the same thing. What was build glass? I don't even remember that one. Build trees, we had 3 of them. So that's a little trickier. What I think we should do for that is um, run. All right, well, first of all, sorry. Let's just go ahead and finish this build outer first, because what we still are missing is the very large if statement for setting the block type. So let's go into logic. Let's grab one of these. You know what we could do instead of a bunch of if statements is we could create one more. All right, we're going to create one more array, and it's going to be an array of block type. Oh, I don't know if I can do that actually. Let me try. Can I make this? Oh, I can. Okay, let's do one more array. We're going to have this array be, oh, don't want it to be renamed. It to be a new variable, and let's call this one block type. Can't have it be the same. The array is going to be, let's just call it block type array. And again, we're going to need 10. Okay. And for our canyon, it was dirt. So let's change this to dirt. For our water, it was glass. Sorry, I'm like really, maybe I need to, that means that y'all can't see either. If I have to like lean in that far, you can't see either. Then we've got, I didn't change that one. Glass for water. We kind of had a blue glass though, if I remember right. I liked this like lighter blue. That's a glass pane. All right, let's just type glass in here. There we go. It's like lighter blue. For the hill, we did like this. We just did grass. For the mud, we ended up using that mycelium. For the, no, that was for the mud, or for the swamp. For the, no, yeah, that was right, for the mud. For the swamp, we used green glass because it was underwater. So let's do green glass there. Green glass, green glass, green glass, green glass. We use this like grody green glass. For the sky, we use glass. All right. Just the normal glass. For the treehouse, so this one we had an outer that was the grass or like the leaves, and an inner that was the bark. I'm gonna just do the inner because I think that for the outer, I'm just gonna have it be different. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna do the wood. Let's do this one, oak wood. Coral reef. We need blue coral. And then for the cave, we just did like stone. And then we had the mountain top. Excuse me. We had the mountain top. And the mountain top, we can just do grass. Okay. So now we've got our block type array, and then now instead of setting it to a block type, what we're going to do is room type we are going to treat as a number, and then we're going to do the same thing as we did before. So we're going to do the block at position, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to do this, and we're going to change this to block type array, and we're going to change that to room type. Is it not going to recognize room type yet? Okay, so get rid of that. Why? I think I have to, yeah, you have to drag it from inside of there. No, I want to put you. Is that because I made it a string? Gosh darn it. Okay, let's make another, let's edit this function. I don't want it to be text, I want it to be a number. Let's do room type. Okay, now we can do that. There we go. Okay, so our build outer now will set the block type to whatever block type we want it to be, and it'll build the outer part. For our build inner, it'll build the inner part. Let's go ahead and add back in those says. So we'll have this one say starting, and then we'll have this one say outer done. Okay. So now over here, for example, instead of this, oh, we don't need the whole thing. We already did swamp. Trees is the only one where we want to keep the leaves. And we're going to want to do them at 12, not at 10. Okay, and we're going to want to do it at width. Hang on, let me go back to 3, so 2. Okay. So build sky. And actually now what we can do is we can just have build and then with a number. And let's call this one, build room type. Okay, and then we're going to do variables, and we're going to do build room type. These variable names aren't the best. Call hollow out. If we're going to do if build room type is trees, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If build room type is 6, then we want to first do the trees. And then for everyone, we want to do build outer, and then we want to do the done in a second. Okay. So build glass, we don't need that. Build hill, we don't need that. Where am I? Mud, cave, coral. And for my hollow out, I just want to say done. Okay. This is one reason I do like coding in blocks, because I cannot read anything on the screen, just like I'm sure you can't. But because I can see the structure of my code, like it's not that bad. So let's format our code so that it's a little cleaner. Um, and I don't like the way that it chose to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and change it a little bit. All right. And we just need to call this build, not build sky. So when we say build, if it's tree, then we want to first build the outer of the tree, and then we're going to build the actual outer, and then we're going to build the hollow it out. For everything else, we're just going to build the outer, and then we're going to hollow it out. If we say teleport, we teleport to a certain room ID. So we can build, it's the same room ID. We can teleport, it's the same room ID. Room list will just print out the list of all of our rooms and what number they are, and setup will set up all of our arrays for us. The only other thing is that we actually do want to say, as long as it's not number 9, because what we don't want is to actually build something on top of the mountain. So let's go ahead and do does not equal 9. We'll go ahead and do that. Okay. So if it equals 6, then we will do the outside first. If it equals, and then for every other one, including 6, oh, you know what? If it equals 6, we need to do that. And then we need to call build outer, and then we need to call hollow out. If it's everything but 9, no, I don't like that. I'm going to do it slightly different. I'm just going to have 2 if statements because I just don't like the way. There, I like that better. So I basically have 2 if statements, and the reason I have 2 if statements is because I want the first one to execute completely. I wanted to say if it equals 6, then do the inside. But then the next one I want to execute separately, not in relation to what that first one did. So I want to say now, if it doesn't equal 9, do the following. If I had it as an else if, the problem is that for our treehouse for number 6, it wouldn't have executed the build outer or build hollow out, and I would have had to have outer and hollow out above. So that's why I'm doing it that way. I like it that way, but there are lots of ways of doing it. Okay, let's just make sure that this works. So right now we should be able to do teleport, teleport. Let's just do 8. That should take us to the cave. That does not look like the cave. Let me make sure this did get executed. And let's make sure we didn't change anything. So build 8 is going to be, let's build the outer teleport. If it equals 10, just go up. Otherwise, go there. Okay, so let's just go ahead and try this again. Actually, let's try teleport 10. Okay, so that brought us up. That worked. Teleport 8. Uh-oh. Teleport 7. Gosh darn it. What did I do wrong now? So teleport. If room ID equals 10, do that. So that one worked, but the other one did not. Get value at room ID, get value X position and Z position. So that should work, assuming these work. We didn't end up using that other than for that. That one, let's see if that even works though. Room list. It's not working again. Oh, I need to run setup. Okay, this is a problem. I need to run setup. Okay. That is clearly means that it's like a bad choice to have it be dependent on that word. Um, let's also time set day. I just hate when it goes nighttime. Okay. So now let's run, oh goodness gracious, teleport 9. Okay. Teleport 4. Awesome. Okay, so these are totally working. Let's do teleport 10. And let me just go up into the sky randomly. I just want to create something um, random, like in the sky, to see if my building one works. So we're going to do build, let's just do like a coral reef in the sky. Why not? Let's actually teleport really far away. So I'm going to do a TP and I'm going to do I just think, oh no, no, I don't want to do that. What are you? Cancel. Please don't do that. Let's just go to 10,000, 75, 372. So I'm just going to go really far away from where I am. So then that way, like, who knows where I am right now? Whoa, I am in a forest. This is so neat. Okay, now I just want to like write this one down because I want to come back here. It looks like a huge like redwood forest. Oh my gosh. Okay. In any case, let's go ahead and just build. I kind of like don't want to mess this area up. Whatever. Let's go ahead and build, and we're gonna do it was build, and let's do our coral reef. So that's 7. So it's starting. We can look. There it goes. And see now this one is definitely dying because it's not touching water. Um, Perfect. So that seems to be working. And it should just create everything. And when it's done, it'll say done. When it's the outer is done, it'll say outer done. When it's done, it'll say done. I think this is pretty awesome. I mean, we did the 2 things that we said we wanted to do pretty much today, which was command up and then refactor our code. Now what I can do is I can actually save this code. And then if you want to try this out, you can try it out on your own. And the only thing that you'll have to do is in the arrays, well, a couple things. In the arrays, you'll have to change the location to the actual location that you end up building it in. The recommendation there is to, and actually, I should build it down as well, because the recommendation there is like go to the top of it, go down, figure out where your position is, and then change the location based on that. Um, so if that didn't make any sense, I'll show you how to do that right now after this one's being done built. I think this will be outer done. Okay, outer done, and then now we're doing the inside of it. Um, so I was right in that because it wasn't touching water, it started to die, but anyways, it's fine. So my recommendation is number 1, you build the square. Number 2, you go into the square and you write down your position. Number 3, you go into the code and you change the position in the code. So we'll try that out right now. Hopefully it is almost done building the air on the inside. Again, it takes slightly less time to do that because it's an 8x8 square versus a 10x10 square. Perfect. Now it's done. Remember when you're building to not move. Okay, so what I like to do is I come in here. Let's go ahead and add in that other one right here. So let's do this. Shoot. I meant to do this. And this. And that. We'll do -10. And let's do this. And let's call it 11. Or let's call it like -1. It's kind of cool. So that means you're kind of going down. Okay, so let's execute this. It shouldn't have changed anything else. However, we do need to run setup. And then we need to run teleport -1. Perfect. Remember to always have some torches ready for you because, yeah. So again, my recommendation is when you're running with this code to do the building. I didn't mean to teleport there. I meant to do, this is not good. Teleport to 1000. So I think it was at like 650, 372. Oh, sorry. TP 1650, 372. Okay, where are you? Am I falling? Oh, good, I'm falling. Ooh, there you are. Okay, so my recommendation is to build first. When you're done building, write down, or sorry, while you're building, do not move. Okay, so build first. When it says done, go ahead and go to the top of your building. From there, you type in teleport -1. That'll bring you inside of it. From there, you decide where you want your player to teleport to inside of your room. You write down that coordinate. Okay. So your current position is 1004, 193, 382. So I'm just going to write that one down. 1004, 193, 382. From there, you go into the code, and whichever one that one was, so let's say you were building the coral, you go into the array blocks and you make sure you change the X position to 1004, the Y position to 193, and the Z position to 382 in the correct position. Remember, we're starting from 0. So if you had 7, so basically Canyon is 0, and you kind of move up from there. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Those are the steps to follow. From there, you should be able to teleport to each of the locations. So let's go teleport back to the mountain. I have to rerun it. Make sure you rerun it each time, and then always make sure you do setup, which we might want to change, but teleport back to the mountain. Okay, so we're back on the mountain. Very good. Great. So that is all of our code. It looks a lot cleaner now. If we were to zoom out, we don't have as many functions. This is all of the code. If you compare that from the last time, it's a lot cleaner. Not only is it cleaner, but we also just have the ability to add more quickly. So for example, we wanted to add in that -1 to go down. We just had to add an extra like if statement to this one. If you wanted to add in another room, super easy. You just add one more to each of these. And then a little tricky, we do need to change this 10 to an 11 and add one, and that'll just add to there. But in general, it's a lot easier to just add one to all of the, actually, that's a good point. It's a lot easier to just add one to all of the arrays. And actually, what I'm going to do for that is it's not going to be 10. It's actually going to be array length +1. So however many items we have in the array, if we do one more than that, it'll just move us up instead of over. So let's do rooms, and we'll do +1. So then that way, if we add in one more, we don't have to change that to 11. Instead, it'll just automatically know as long as we've changed our arrays. So I'll show you that teleport to 10 still works. So again, let's run setup. And then let's do teleport 10, and that'll still just bring us up. Maybe it wasn't done setting up. Whoop, that took us somewhere that I didn't need to go. Teleport 10. That isn't working. Teleport 9. Okay, that worked. Why didn't you work? Length of array rooms +1. If room ID is length of array rooms +1, that makes sense. Oh, we just want it to be length of array rooms because length of array is 10, even though the last index is 9. There we go. Okay, let's try this one more time. And setup and teleport 10. There we go. So now, even if we were to add another one, it'll still work. So I'm going to go ahead and share my code. We're going to call this clue setup. Okay, so I'm going to publish my project. Chat window here, but also I'm going to do this. So we'll do setup code. If you want to use to build a similar board game, you can use this setup code here. And we'll go ahead and do this. So then that way it turns into a link. Um, from there, I'll add in kind of the some of the instructions below when we get off of this stream. But does anyone have any questions, any ideas? On Thursday, we'll start planning out exactly what we want to do. My idea is that we're going to build inside of each of the rooms. We're going to have certain types of blocks that can only be destroyed by certain types of tools. And then either we will do, what I'm thinking is we'll have something like hidden inside of the different blocks. And so instead of having it be like it'll be kind of two tiered, so we'll actually have a bunch of people come in. You'll go to all the different areas. You'll have to like find the tools, and then once you find the tool, you have to find the area, like the room that the tool will be useful in. And then once you find that, if you get to the item, then it'll kind of reset the game. So then that way anyone, like it'll pause everyone, and it'll be like, okay, someone found an item basically, and then you have to figure out like which person in what room, and et cetera, et cetera. I think that would be kind of fun. It's a little weird because the person who found it will know, and if anyone was near them, they would know. So we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. But otherwise, thanks y'all for joining me. Oh, by the way, if you did do that, if you did want to check out that code, you just put that link, which will be linked in the GitHub repo and in the chat, and in the description on YouTube. You just put that into any browser, and it'll bring up not only the code, there'll be a simulator, and then you can also see the JavaScript. Um, so yeah, and then you can kind of like simulate and play with it. So this is the code that we built. Pretty fun. So yeah, this is the setup part, and yeah, let me know if you have any ideas or questions, and I'd love to just kind of hear from you. And yeah, for now, I think we're done. So I will see you all likely on Thursday. Talk soon. Bye.